Hello, we would talk about poetry today and we would consider what poetry is and the types of poetry. Well, one of the famous poets that we know, by the name William Wordsworth, defined poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings recollected in tranquility. Now think about it. Spontaneous could imply sudden. Powerful could imply strong. Feelings stand for emotions. And recollected, suggest remembering something, reliving something. How about tranquility? Tranquility suggests a state of calm, a state of peace. All right. So to Wordsworth, poetry is that sudden outburst of strong emotions, remembered in a state of calm. And I need you to think about that definition, because that definition seems to give us a hint to what poetry is. So today we will talk about the subgenres of poetry, the types of poems. So what are the broad types of poems? We have the lyrical poems, we have the narrative poems, we have the satirical poems, we have the dramatic poems, and some persons say that we equally have the contemplative poems. Now, what are lyrical poems? Lyrical poems are poems that are musical, and they are musical because they have rhymes, and they have rhythm. These are more or less poems that we could drum or play some sort of musical instrument to. And what are the examples of our lyrical poems? Your sonnet, is an example of a lyrical poem. Your ode is equally an example of a lyrical poem. All right. Now, these are a few of the examples of lyrical poems. Your elegy is equally an example of your lyrical poem. How about the narrative poem? A narrative poem is a poem that tells a story. And when you think about your epic and your ballad, these two poems, qualify as narrative poems because they tell stories. All right. So narrative poems are poems that chronicle events, and tell us stories. Think about it again. How about satirical poems? You know what satire is, all right? A satirical poem is a poem that is written to make mockery of social vices. So can you think of such poems? How about your dramatic poems? From the adjective dramatic, these are poems that come across as drama. Now, they are not dramatic poems because they are scripted. They are dramatic poems because they seem to have characters in them, just like the narrative poems, and they also have some level of monologue, so that when you read such poems, you almost feel that you're either watching a play, because you come across characters that speak to you. And the last type is the contemplative poem. Contemplative poetry is the type of poetry that philosophizes. Contemplative poetry is written, to ponder over issues. Now these are just basic poetry types. Could you think of other types? If you think you have an answer for me, please feel free to write your comment, just below the video. Take care of yourself. Bye.